I'm going to make a Scottish shortbread today for the holidays. My older son Clemmy went to college in Edinburgh, Scotland 3 years ago, and he graduated. And my younger son and my younger sister and I went to visit him in Scotland. He had already bought me this beautiful cashmere neck scarf in Scotland before we went. And he also got me a recipe for Scottish shortbread, and I'm going to show that to you towards the end of the video, but it's a large cloth recipe of Scottish shortbread. So we visited him 3 years ago when he was writing his dissertation, and I bought another neck scarf and a little hat. The country is absolutely stunning. The people are really friendly and very nice. And I did have some shortbread there at a local little deli, and it was the best shortbread I've ever had. I can't even make it that good. They use their own kind of butter and ingredients, of course, so I'm sure that makes it all the more tasty. So this has really become a family favorite since I started making it in Christmas of 2019. So I make this along with a few other desserts at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's a wonderful recipe. It's like so easy. So I'm going to show you how to make this, and I hope you enjoy this. Okay, the bonus about making this is it has 3 ingredients. It is super easy to make. I will show you how I do everything though once I make the dough. So what it's going to have is it's going to have 2 cups of real butter. And you're going to have 1 cup of brown sugar, packed of course, and you're going to blend this together until it's creamy. It's always a plus when you can make something so delicious and so easy with less work than most desserts. So we're going to turn this on, start off low. And if you want your butter room temperature, so this is how you want it. The batter is nice and creamy, and that's how you want it. So now you're going to add 3½ cups of flour gradually. So we're just going to cream in the flour very gradually, not all at once. So here's our dough. It's basically a cookie dough, so it's real thick. So now you're going to flour your board, and this will give it the other flour that you didn't put in the original. So all together it's going to have 4 cups of flour, but you only added 3½ cups to start, and so the rest of it is going to be used to knead the dough. You didn't want to put all of it in at once because it'll dry it out. So now we're going to put all the dough together, clump it all together, and get one big ball of dough. Actually, you can have this in 2 different portions, and if you want, you don't have to make the whole recipe. You can cut it in half. So it's 2 cups of butter, it's 4 cups of flour, and 1 cup of brown sugar. And you only put in the first 3½ cups of flour. You don't put it all in. The rest goes in this process right here. So I have made it with half a batch when I didn't need as much, but this is for the holiday, so I'm making the full amount. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to knead it first before you do anything. So once you get the dough kind of soft like this and pliable, you're going to go ahead and dust your board with a little more flour because you don't want anything to stick. And we're going to make sure both sides are dusted with flour, and then we're going to start rolling this out. And we want to roll this a ½ inch thick. That's how thick you want your cookies to be, your shortbread. So make sure you have enough flour. You don't want to over flour, but you want to have enough so it doesn't stick. And then you're going to start rolling. Like I said, it's a ½ inch thick you're going to roll, so you're not going to do too much rolling because we're right at about a ½ inch right now. So, and okay, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you're going to need a cookie sheet, either ungreased or covered with parchment paper. Your oven should be preheated at 325, and you should have a knife. And now we're going to cut these in kind of like little rectangles, kind of like maybe 2 or 3 inches long. You can make them any shape you want, but this is kind of how they are. And when you buy them in Scotland, or if you buy any Scottish shortbread here, they usually have them shaped just like this. So this is the first half of the dough. Then you need a fork. And what you're going to do is you're going to go like this, little pricks, probably like 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is something that the kids would enjoy helping out with too. This is a fun shortbread to make. It's a very simple recipe, and it's really good. It's one of those recipes that you like to make because you don't have to put a lot of work into it. It doesn't take very long to make it. So your oven is preheated to 325, and then these should be like 1 inch apart on your baking sheet. Okay, so we're going to put these on the baking sheet and then put them in the oven. Okay, here, so you just get like a spatula, and like I said, just put them on your baking sheet about 1 inch apart. Just like that. Okay, this is our first batch. You can put them different directions. It doesn't matter as long as they're about 1 inch apart. This should be fine. So we're going to put them in the oven now. Okay, so you put these in on the middle rack, and they're supposed to bake for 20 to 25 minutes. Of course, it does depend on your oven. Normally, my oven is fine, except for times that I make something that I may not have made before. This does take about 20 minutes. I would start at about 18, depending on your oven. It could take up to 25. Here's our second batch. You just want a little flour on it, like that. And like I said, you don't have to hardly roll it at all, because when you roll it, it's already just about a ½ inch how you want it. So this is exactly how you want it. So rolling it is a very quick process. You can have some a little thicker and some a little longer, however you want. But these are like traditionally how they look. I did have some in Scotland that weren't this shape. They were more square. So they're not, the ones that you buy are shaped long like this, but I've had some in Scotland that weren't shaped like this. I had one that was more kind of like a round, and I've had them square. So they don't make them all like this when you're actually in Scotland, but they're absolutely delicious. So here's our second batch. The first one is almost ready. So the nice thing is we're done now. We've done all the cookie batter. We have one batch in the oven. This one's all done. That's how simple this recipe is. It is so simple. I just took these out of the oven, and they look really yummy. They took exactly 20 minutes to bake. I did set my timer for 18, and you can see how golden, a light golden they are. This is exactly how they're supposed to be. They're really, really yummy. So we're going to give them a try now. Okay, here they are. They're just as good looking as they are tasting. So I'm going to taste one now. Very buttery. Just a simple flavor. Not sweet, not real sweet. Because if you figure this has 4 cups of flour, 2 cups of butter, and 1 cup, only 1 cup of brown sugar. So they're very buttery, kind of flaky, but they're not overly sweet. It's shortbread. So these are like not overly sweetened. So for somebody that doesn't like real sugary stuff, this is perfect. And it's perfect if you do, because they're just the right amount of sugar. You can make this any time of the year. Holidays, birthdays, just for fun. This is a super delicious and extremely easy and fast recipe to make. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. So here's my Scottish shortbread recipe hanging in my kitchen on my wall that my son Clemmy bought me in Scotland. So this recipe comes straight from Scotland. It's a Scottish recipe. And like I said, he bought this for me and mailed it to me before I even went to Scotland. So when we went to Scotland, I didn't need to buy one because I already had one. So here it is. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.